delighted to be here. Thank you. Thanks for getting up this morning and showing up. I see everyone has coffee, so we're going to be okay. So, this is my first time at this conference. As someone with anxiety, depression, and a panic disorder, showing up at these kinds of things is a little bit intimidating. So first of all, I just wanted to say thank you so much. Everything everyone says about this conference is true. Like, this is a love fest. You all are incredible, and thank you so much for making me feel comfortable and welcome and for sharing your stories. And I've gotten some really good hugs. So it's just an absolute joy for me to be here. So I want to tell you just a little bit more about me. I appreciate the lovely bio, but I want you to feel like there's kind of a stranger up here. And so I want to talk a little bit about my past and how I got here. And then we'll move to a little grounding technique that I like to use when I'm at the beginning of a big day. Because today is going to be epic. We have lots going on. So we'll do a little grounding and then we'll get to the rest of the day. Does that sound okay? We all good? Okay. Awesome. All right. I need to do a little visual description of myself. I am 5'3". I have dark hair. At least I used to have dark hair. It's quickly going gray and I refuse to dye it. I'm wearing what I like to call a formal onesie. So I'm basically up here in my PJs, but it looks like I tried for you all. I'm also wearing white Chuck Taylors because I'm a 90s kid and you will have to pry these out of my cold, dead hands. So if you were also alive in the 90s, you might think that we went to high school together. I get that a lot. We didn't. I was doing other things when I was supposed to be going to high school. So I grew up in Hollywood working as an actor from the ages of 4 to 22. I did some movies that you might still have on VHS in your basement. Mrs. Doubtfire. I played... It's an old movie, y'all. Get over it. I played Robin Williams' oldest daughter, Lydia. I was in Independence Day. I was Randy Quaid's daughter. That was when I was rocking the short shorts and the crop top, running from aliens. But I also did a whole lot of, really bad, just like teen angst 90s disease of the week movies that only did well in Denmark. So the point is I worked a lot. That was my entire life. Didn't really go to school. And for a while, that worked. There were a lot of great things about my job and what I did. But as I got into my early 20s, I really started to see some of the significant downsides to the film industry. I think we are all becoming much more aware of what those are. And I was also really struggling with my mental health. So my anxiety, my depression, and my panic disorder. So there I was living this life that was supposed to be the most perfect thing imaginable. I had won the golden ticket. I was a working actor in LA. But I was miserable. And I would often find myself just sobbing, curled up, lying on a pile of shoes in my closet, unable to leave my house. And I realized, if I was going to survive my life, that something really had to change. I quit acting. I moved away from Los Angeles. And I tried to figure out who I was beneath this identity of actor that I had since I was 4 years old. When I moved across the country, I was very disappointed to find out I was still me when I got there. Turns out that just running away and like blowing up your entire life doesn't actually fix anything. So I had to work on myself. I went to therapy. I discovered meditation. I discovered yoga. I discovered therapeutic writing practices. And that's what saved me. So it took me a while, a long while, years, turning into decades. But these practices became core to how I got through my days. And I wanted to share that with others. So I started teaching. And after a while of doing that, in 2016, I was invited to teach a therapeutic writing program on a mindfulness retreat for military veterans with post-traumatic stress. So I am a Canadian vegetarian hippie chick. And I was gonna go work with military veterans. This was gonna be a cluster. But I was writing a book at the time, and I was like, it's gonna be good content. So I went onto this mindfulness retreat, and I taught therapeutic writing. And that experience changed the trajectory of my career and my life. I saw these veterans who had sacrificed so much and were struggling so painfully, right? If you don't know the statistics, we lose at least 22 veterans per day to suicide, and that number is way underreported. And I saw meditation, yoga, writing. I saw it change them. And they told me time and time again that this was what was saving them. Not at first. At first they told me it was bullshit that wasn't gonna work. But after they tried, because they were desperate, the impact I saw was phenomenal. So I volunteered for that organization, and volunteering led me to realize that this was my passion. This was what I'd been looking for since I left Los Angeles. And in 2022, I started my own nonprofit, and we run these retreats for military veterans. And I was, thank you. I was so touched during Carson's keynote last night when he talked about the brokenness. The brokenness that so many of us feel inside. And what I realize is that oftentimes our brokenness looks different on the outside, but it feels the same on the inside. And that's what I'm seeing modeled so much this weekend with all of you. And that brokenness, that part of us, is the part that connects with others. That's where the light gets in. And just because it might look different on the outside doesn't mean that we can't support each other, we can't have empathy for each other, that we can't teach each other, that we can't learn from each other, that we can't love each other. Sometimes we focus way too much on the differences and not enough on what actually connects us. And I feel like that's what we're all doing here this weekend, and that is really what it is my passion to continue doing, because we are all perfect and we are all in progress. So with that being said, I would love for us to just take a moment to kind of ground and settle and get connected and get ready for the day that is ahead of us. So, first thing you need to know about this practice that we're going to do together is that I am not the boss of you. You do not have to do a single thing I say. If you want to totally ignore me for the next 7 minutes, please feel welcome to do that. It is not the first time I work with veterans. the offering is to make this work for you. So we're just going to be seated. So get comfortable in your seat. If you need to adjust, please feel free to do that. You can lower your gaze a little bit. If you want to close the eyes, feel free to do that. And just breathe in and out through the nose if that feels comfortable. Notice if you're clenching the jaw, maybe you can relax that a little bit. If the shoulders are up around the ears, see if you can draw them down a little bit. If you want to roll the neck a little to do that, go ahead and feel free to do that. You can't mess this up. You can't do this wrong. Your mind is going to wander. You're going to time travel into the past or the future. You might be worrying or list making or obsessing or thinking, why the hell am I doing this? That's fine. That is what our monkey minds do. That is the human experience. Your brain is not special because it jumps around. That's what we do. It's kept us alive in a lot of ways. But right now we're just focusing on what it feels like to take this next inhale. And then what it feels like to take this next exhale. And then this next inhale. And then maybe you notice at the top of the inhale that there's this little space after the inhale before it becomes the next exhale. See if you can linger in that space just a moment longer. You're not holding the breath, but see if you can just feel the fullness in the lungs for just an extra beat before you exhale. And then maybe you'll notice when the lungs are empty that there's also a similar pause. So see if you can empty out the lungs completely and take that pause and lengthen it just another beat. And if you want, maybe you can bring one hand to your heart, or maybe one hand to heart and one hand to belly. And see if you can find the physical sensations that are involved in breathing. So you might feel the rise and fall of the chest. Maybe you're noticing that the belly puffs out a little bit as you inhale. You're filling even the lower lobes of the lungs, which causes the diaphragm to drop down, which causes the belly to puff out. So there's a lot going on. See if you can pay attention to that. This is an automatic process that keeps you alive, and yet we spend so little time paying attention to it. And there's that exhale where belly button draws towards spine. By the mere fact that you are here and you are breathing, there is more right with you than there is wrong with you. So maybe a little moment of gratitude for this body that has gotten you here to have this incredible experience together. Take a deep breath in through the nose. Sigh it out through the mouth. Good. Again, breathe in as deep as you can through the nose. And then sigh out like a Okay, that sounded awesome. Let's do it one last time. Breathe in as deep as you can. Sigh it out loud. Good. You can let the eyes open or the gaze lift. You can take a little stretch, move around if you need to. How was that? Good. Yay. Okay, so that's all there is to this mindful meditation woo-woo stuff that you hear about. Having a practice like this, even just for a few minutes, can be so effective. And so I'm going to be around for the rest of the conference. I'm happy to talk to you more about any of this, but I'm so grateful that you're here. Thank you for trusting me and moving through that practice together. I come and I do these sorts of talks, and I walk us through a mindfulness, and I want to teach you, but mostly it's for me because it helps me calm the hell down. So thanks for going with me. I really appreciate it. Again, thank you for the work that you do in the world. You could have made a million other choices, but you chose to do the really hard thing and speak up and make a difference in the world, and the world needs you. So thank you so much. I'm so grateful.
Please welcome to the stage, Becky Brennan.